I'm here with Mark Nelson of Rio Grande, and today we're going to be talking about bezel setting, which is a really interesting setting that's done with cabochons.
Exactly. You'll see it in a lot of jewelry.
Yeah, we're actually going to take a look at one of the examples right away, so you can see what this necklace actually is really pretty, because you do have that kind of smooth bezel setting and the scallop.
And the scallop,
all at the same time. So it's two different types, many different types actually.
Many different types, but the technique is still the same for all the different types. Basically what I have here is a mocked up type of setting situation, and put it on some copper so we can actually see it as I do it. And a large carnelian. Now cabochons are a polished stone. They have a domed surface and a flat back. Okay. And the bezel wall, this is called a bezel wall, is designed to go up and over the edge of the stone. Okay. And this one particularly happens to be a handmade flat one, okay, with a flat edge. You also see them like a scalloped edge. Here's a flat one for a square. Another scallop, and here's a serrated one with like real sharp teeth. So the technique is the same for all of them.
Now, how far up should the bezel be in relationship to the stone?
A lot of it depends on your design, but mostly it's function. Okay. If it's what you want to do is look at the side of the stone, and then look at how it's going to compare to the height of the stone.
Okay.
If it's up too high, it's not going to fold over on top of the stone. If it's too low, it won't hold the stone.
Okay.
So somewhere right in the middle.
So, relatively speaking. Somewhere. Now, if it's too short, what can you do for that?
If it's too short, the wall?
Yes.
If it's too short on the wall, then you can either sand the stone down, if it's a softer stone. If the wall is too high, you can either file down the wall or raise the stone by putting a backing. And some people use cardboard, old records, business cards, credit cards, whatever you want to do.
Just to make it work.
Exactly. And it needs to be a tight fit. If it's loose, you're going to end up with some problems. Okay.
And a missing stone.
Eventually. So to start with, you'll have your bezel, and you put your stone in there. Make sure it's down all the way. Just push on it. And on a lot of these, if you're using fine silver, you can use hand tools. This is a rocker bezel. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to start at 12 o'clock and just push it down. And this is fine silver, so it's going to push really easy, and it's going to stay. And then go to opposites.
So 12 and 6 are the first ones.
3, 9, and then just start filling in the areas. And the reason I like the rocker bezel is you can push really hard, and it has a lot of focused energy. So
do you need a lot of good force to be able to get that down like that?
Not really. The fine silver really bends very, very easily. And you just keep pushing down the high spots as you go. Reason you're doing this is you want to keep the stone from twisting in the mounting. If you have a little bit of room in your bezel, your stone will shift. And then this will help keep from doing it.
And then it's not going to be straight.
And as we get these little bumps, they're getting progressively harder to push down. And this is where the rocking comes in.
Now, eventually, will this become all smooth?
It'll become perfectly smooth.
Wow.
And you just keep working it and working it. And you got a little nodule here.
Wow.
And you just keep working it. And once it's mostly down, then you kind of switch to a burnisher, which we're about ready to do.
Actually, looks pretty good.
Yeah, we're getting real close.
Getting there, yeah.
You want to change your angle too, so you got us coming mostly in from the side. You can come in now from the top and start pushing it down.
There you go.
You can really change your angles a lot.
Any particular tips you have for anyone in this phase?
Really get your fingers on your piece. You can see I'm really close to the stone. If I'm back here, or if I'm, like this is a good way to do it. You have a lot of stability, and you're not going to slip and go across your stone.
Yeah.
Some stones, like the malachite, are really soft.
Exactly.
So now we're pretty close, and we can switch to a burnisher. And this you really want to grip when your hand's really, really hard. Use your thumb as a back brace, and you start rubbing, and find the angle that's going to work. You're putting a lot of pressure on there. This is going to do a lot of the smoothing out. And it also work hardens the metal. Work hardening it's compressing the metal. So this will keep the stone in there even more securely.
And I notice how your thumb is kind of doing double duty, because it's kind of stabilizing it, but yet protecting the stone at the same time.
Exactly.
So that's always important.
It is protecting a stone. Some of these can get, you know, really precious.
Yeah.
And easily scratched.
Yeah. Now, what would be the easiest metal to do this with?
Fine silver.
Fine silver.
Or like 18 or 22 karat gold.
Oh, that's right, because it's softer.
Right, and that's beautiful stuff too.
The fewer alloys added to it.
And there you want the edges to be touching the stone if possible. And if I'm having a hard time, I can come back.
Wow, that looks really good.
Come back with the rocker bezel and change my angle and just walk it right along the edge, like that.
And that just really gets it smoothed out. And obviously, you know, if you were doing this at home, you probably would be spending even more time on it, just making sure it's all perfect.
All perfect, yeah. Take your time. It's a focal piece of your work.
Now, you're going to show us some other examples of this?
I am. Here I have a prefabbed bezel for a bracelet or linked together. And here's a stone that goes in there. Now, these are die struck from sterling.
Okay.
So when I get them, they're very hard to set. What I've done is I've annealed them with a torch, heated them up, and that's softened the metal.
Gotcha.
Okay, and that's going to help out. I'm also going to use a handpiece for the flex shaft that is like a little hammer. Put your finger on there.
All right.
Go ahead.
Oh,
See, it's like a little tiny hammer.
I trust you. Now, let's explain the flex shaft again quickly for people. What kind of machinery is this?
A flexible shaft is like those little rotary tools, but it comes down in on a shaft. And in this particular instance, it comes down here and does a cam. So it has a little hammer that has little tiny strokes on there.
Yeah.
And it comes in really handy for doing these really tiny settings.
Great.
Now I have to use my glasses here so I can see. But the process is the same. You start at the 12.
Oh, that's kind of cool. And of course, you're on metal.
Yeah.
I mean, on silver, yeah.
Yeah, this is sterling. And I'm using a steel block because if I do this on the wood, the bezel is going to bounce a lot. And it's not actually going to compress the metal.
Wow.
And you know, I could leave it like this too. If it's going to hold the stone,
perfect.
I could leave it as a scallop,
Yeah.
as a decorative design. But these hammer hand pieces make really quick work, very accurate work.
I like that.
They use them a lot to do channel setting, prong setting for high-end jewelry.
Yeah. That's perfect.
So.
Yeah, and as we said, you know, with the other one, you can keep going and going and going and going. I just want to show these are some other examples of different types of bezels that you may be able to find.
Right.
The scalloped, and then you also have the serrated one, which is there.
Right.
And then some other examples of the beautiful jewelry pieces using these bezel settings. That was fun. I love using the tools.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back.